Unsuper Super asked, how do you cast voice actors and choose music for Tome? Do you approach specific people, or have auditions, or do people offer to contribute, or some combination thereof? For the music, it is as simple as Kadgit does, where he did all the music prior to doing the series, and I've just been fortunate enough to use a bunch of the music that he already composed, and I've had other guest musicians come on board for different episodes, which I've sought out and approached and had them do, different arrangements of Kadgit's tunes and stuff, which has been really cool. For the voice actors, the only cases where I had an audition were Flame Girl, because I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted for her voice when I started. And Webmaster actually did have an audition. I remember in the first episode, he was intended to be the Welcome to Tome, introductory system voice. But I decided instead I wanted to have it be a female voice, and so I decided to not have it be Webmaster from the beginning. But I did have an audition. I went through a couple actors to try to give a shot on that, and then ultimately just made a creative difference with it. As far as the casting for the other characters, though, with Tome, I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment with casting, a few different experiments actually. For one thing, as many people have noticed, there are a lot of guest stars in the show. I try to get a few different people in there that I can attach as names to each episode to be like, hey, so and so is in this episode, check them out, and obviously cross promote them as well, and be like, hey, they're in this show as well, or oh, they did this series or whatever. Just to see, kind of if and how that affects, the viewership and the exposure of it and whatnot. And it's been interesting doing that. But more so than just that, because I'm not just willy-nilly slapping celebrities and whoever on the characters, just with no thought put into it. All the people that I've chosen have been, in my mind, appropriate for the parts. With a lot of the characters who are of different ethnicities and have different accents and from different countries and whatnot, I tried to cast racially and accentally appropriate for each of them, because I wanted to kind of preserve some of that. So Kimlin and Afia, who play Granda, and Whitey, who were both intended to be characters of Asian descent. They're Asian, so etc. All the European British characters are played by actual people from Europe, etc. So that's kind of how that went for the most part. It really has to do with okay, who do I know that fits this part more than anything, and helps kind of bring a little bit of an extra layer to the character with their performance and whatnot, and everybody's done a really fantastic job, and I love my cast. I'm super blessed to have them all. They're fantastic. Josh and Pizza asked, why does it take you so long to make an episode? Aren't there other people helping you animate, or are you doing all the animating yourself? I'm doing all the animating myself, and it's funny. I've gotten anything from why does it take so long like this to why are you rushing so much, etc. Listen, everybody ever, I'm working at my own pace. I happen to work fast, so I'm able to produce a full episode in the span of a month and a half, depending or so, which has helped me to get 9 episodes released in the span of 2 years, which is pretty good for a TV show length web series by, yes, one guy doing all the animation. Now, that said, I'm very lucky to have my my background artist crew and concept artists and people, Dave, Jordan, and Fooley, who have done amazing work. And recently, if you guys noticed on episode 9, I had Nico, the Twisted Grim TV, helping with some guest animation. He did a shot in the big final fight scene of the tournament, so go check that out. And he might be helping out in the future as well. So I do have some help, but the majority of everything is done by me and me alone, and it's a lot of just hard-pressed man-hours of just drawing the same characters over and over and over and over and over and over, and I'm doing the best job I can, and I do want to produce content on a steady rate, so I'm not necessarily rushing myself. I designed the show to be very easy to produce in terms of, it's not extremely detailed, it's not extremely difficult to do. But why it takes me so long to do an episode is because I'm doing everything on my own. And why it takes so fast to do an episode is because I'm producing it in a way that allows me to do it fast. So hopefully that covers all those bases. And, I don't know if that changes anybody else's expectations, but now you know the truth. Anonymous asked, if you got the opportunity, would you make Tome a real anime or TV show? If yes, what changes would you make, if any? I think the spirit of this question, to ground down, is if I had a lot more money, if I had a budget for this show, what would I do? If I was able to like make a living doing Tome, if I had like an actual budget, if I had like a much bigger crew, and I was able to produce episodes on a steadier pace, I would do 1,000,000 episodes. Are you kidding? I would do tons about like all the side characters. I would explore more of like the game mechanics and stuff, and different things about the world. But the fact is, I conceptualized this story to be very simplistic, like just like the execution of this world to be very simplistic, so I could just focus entirely on the development and the main plot with Alpha and company, and the couple of the other characters that are important to the main stuff that's going on. And that doesn't mean that I wouldn't still love to do more, but I'm trying to not overload myself with way too much. I'm trying to create a good balance of of everything, and it's tough, and I wish I could do more. I wish I had more resources to do it, to do those things further than I envisioned. But there's only so much that one guy can do. The same applies to if it were on TV, if it were studio produced, if it were a game, even just in general. If I had more resources, there are a lot more that I would do. But that said, I'm proud with what I have done. And people seem to enjoy it for what it is, so I can't say that I'm not proud of what I've done, and I'm regretful or anything that I couldn't. I'm like, man, why don't I have a big budget to do this or whatever? I'm just making the best with what I have to work with and what I'm doing myself, and just hopefully you guys enjoy it too. Anonymous the Second asked, what's your personal favorite scene so far? The one you're most proud of. Also, what's your favorite non-canon ship? I would say, as of now, my favorite moment is everything in episode 5, like the second half of like all of episode 5, from when Alpha becomes his demon form for the first time up until he gets his ass handed to him by Zeto. To be honest, doing episode 5 was what made me continue doing the show in the first place, because when I finished episode 4, I was taking a hiatus for a little bit because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to keep going. We weren't receiving sponsorship from Newgrounds anymore, and producing the show was becoming a lot more time consuming than I thought it was going to be, and so because of that, I wasn't sure if I was going to continue further. But episode 5 was something that I just really, really, really wanted to do, because I'd just been looking forward to doing those scenes forever, and I did it, and I was really happy with it, and then that just was kind of the swift kick in the ass that I needed to continue with the show in general. So yeah, and I will say that possibly a new favorite scene is going to be in episode 10, something that will top my previously favorite scene from episode 5. Won't spoil what it is, but I do hope that you like 10, because it's a big important one for me. I'm really giving my all for it. I've been trying to top myself like more and more with each episode, like really growing the beard, as it were, and doing better with each episode. And I hope you enjoy it. So, and my favorite non-canon ship is Kerbifer and Raccoon, because their hatred just spells love. Duh. KCC Kirby asked, what was the most inspiring thing that has been experienced or told to you since you created Tome? That is a good question, and from a general standpoint, as cheesy and like cop-outy as this is probably going to sound, anytime I ever get to meet people in person, like at conventions, or even like if people like send me emails about like how the show like affected them, I've gotten just anything from like, hey, like I was feeling depressed, or like, my friend showed me this and I just really liked it and I really connected with it, or just emails of like, hey, like I was sick, or my friend was sick, etc. Just any sort of like impactful moment that they had with the show is what's very impactful to me. and very inspiring, because it's one of the things that drives me to keep doing stuff like this. I mean, doing Tome, doing stuff like Tome in general is kind of like me filling a hole in my heart, as it were. Not to get too melodramatic, but I mean, it's something that I feel I have to do. Like doing this kind of stuff, doing like big, stupid over the top stories with a million characters in a big universe. It's just something that like I feel I have to do. It's just like a part of me. And that sounds utterly ridiculous, but it's the truth. So and these are all things based on impactful things that happened to my life, people that were very impactful to me, that left a lasting impression, that inspired me. So whenever I get a story from other people that it inspired them or it impacted them in any way, that it means the world to me. I think the moment that I really fully understood that was the scene in episode 4, which was the scene where Alpha and Curb and the others are all sitting around the campfire or whatever, waiting for the Shadow Guard idol to hatch out and all that, which was the first scene that I wrote, technically, for the show, where they're talking about maybe the process of meeting up in real life and hanging out. I remember a bunch of my friends just really, really appreciated that scene, because it meant a lot in terms of, people who get to know each other online and form like really, really deep bonds with each other. And I am a huge appreciator of that, from the day and age that we live in, where, everybody can be just very, very easily connected over the internet. So that means a lot to me. And that's one of the overarching themes of the show is just, friendship from all over the world, really, So, I don't know if that really answers your question, but just people who are inspired and tell me that, that's the most inspiring overall thing to me, just for doing the show. And the last one I'm going to go out on, similar to my last Q&A, this is a general question that everybody has been asking me. Now that I've announced officially that episode 10 is the season finale, everyone's asking, how many more episodes do you plan on making? Are you going to do a season 2? How long is this going to go for, etc.? All right, so I don't want to speak too soon on a few things, but I'm going to try to give some basic information for this. So when I came up with this version of the Tome story, when I knew I was like, okay, I'm going to do a revival of TTA, and I'm gonna do this, and I've got like the whole basic gist of the plot planned out in my head. I made outlines for, I want to say, about 20 episodes, 18 to 20 or so episodes, give or take. And a lot of things have changed and developed over time. And obviously some people know the story that I wrote the first 8 episodes prior to doing any of them, and then I added what became episode 4. Sort of wedge that in between it, and then I was originally going to end the season actually with the end of the tournament, but I decided I wanted to have episode 10 be a little bit more of an actual cutoff point, because I wanted to have a bit more of an end to the arc, as it were. So episode 10 is not going to wrap up everything. It's sort of the end of an arc. That's all I'll say about that, because I don't want to spoil anything again. But it's not the end. It's an end, but it's not the end. There's a lot left over that is not resolved. So that said, I'm formulating a plan about what to do after episode 10 is released. Like I said at the beginning, I want to get it out before the year is up, and I think I can do that. I'm pretty sure I can release it before 2013 is over. But that said, I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen after that. I do want to continue, and I do have plans, but nothing is set in stone yet. But I'm gonna keep all of you posted, and as soon as I know anything for certain on how I'm gonna handle doing the material beyond this, cutoff point, or so. With episode 10, I will let you know, and I'm sure you can help me out. There's a way that you can give back, to the series that I hope you love, And that's it. That's all I'm gonna say on that. I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to spoil anything. Again, I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but I'm trying to be careful about it because I don't want to get too many hopes up. Just bear with me. I really hope you like episode 10. I'm going back to work on it today. I'm again gonna really push myself and try to do even better and better with this episode. And I will try my absolute best to not disappoint. So everybody, again, thank you so much for enduring, for enjoying these 2 long, amazing years of doing Tome, Terrain of Magical Expertise. And, here's hoping we have a lot more in store in the future. So see you guys later. And remember, you can follow me on Twitter. You can go to the Tome Facebook page for more details. Go to the Game Theorist YouTube channel to check out the episodes on there. Go to the official website to see even more episodes. And look forward to episode 10. I'll see you guys later.